All right, so hopefully everyone's had a chance to read through the minutes from March 26th.
I'm
I'll
here. Hi,
entertain.
everybody.
Ellie,
Hi.
Um,
Beautiful day, huh?
yes,
Yeah.
it
it is.
is.
Okay, so
I'm
if
slow.
there's I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So
Do,
moved.
do we
A
have the minutes?
second. Do I have a second?
Second,
I back
Okay,
up for a
yeah,
second.
okay,
I
hold
didn't
on.
see
Do I have a
minutes.
second?
second.
Okay, now we'll open it to discussion.
I did not
I,
see
I
minutes
didn't
come
get the
through.
minutes.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
see
what?
them either.
I'm sorry, what, Kate?
I didn't see any minutes come through. Did you get minutes?
No.
Yeah, I didn't get minutes.
I, you know what? I was probably reading the minutes from the month before.
Hmm.
That's true. The minutes from March, yes. Okay, well then we will
Can
table.
we table that till the next meeting? Because I know
Yep.
there were some corrections to some finance stuff that Ellie was working on.
Okay,
Oh,
all
here
right,
comes
so,
Barbara. Admit Barbara.
all right. So we'll table that. Waiting for Barbara. Barbara, are you there? Hmm? Okay, we'll move forward. Moving forward to the financial report. Which Justin sent out yesterday.
Mhm.
Does anyone have questions, concerns? It looks to me like things are on track for spending.
Yeah, we're not overspent for the fiscal year in any of our municipal budget. Some line items are over, some are under, but it
Right.
averages. The bottom line is where we'd expect it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we got our grant
Very good.
disbursement
I saw that.
from the NBLC. So our grant account is now up to $66,433.
Nice.
Ooh,
Do a little
22,000
sound effect for these exciting events.
I
Like
know.
poppers or something, or a little whistle. Who's
Yeah.
going to be in charge of that? Somebody should be in charge of that. Sound effects. We're going to add that to our list of officers.
Yes.
Special
Ding, ding,
effects
ding.
person.
A
You might
ding,
get
ding,
you
ding.
might get an award for it if you're good enough.
Mhm.
All right. We good with everything? I'm good.
Yeah.
I have no questions at all. Everything looks fine.
And interest, I was going to mention interest. For some reason, like interest fluctuates month to month, and like
Mm,
between all of the various accounts, we earned more than $1,000 of interest in March.
I saw that.
That's unusual. We don't usually get that much, but all of the accounts, March must
Is
have
it
been like a really good
because
month.
March is the end of a quarter?
Maybe, I don't
That might
know,
have something to do with it.
but that seems like a reasonable theory.
Hmm. Yes, I noticed that too, and I thought, this is outstanding. All right, I'm good. We
Hmm?
good? And then on to circulation and the director's report. Justin, do you
Circulation
want to?
was good. Across the board to reach a month where we circulated more than 2,000 books. Like I have to look all the way back to 2015. It's been a long time since we've circed, that many books in a March or even in any month at all. So we were busy in March. Our
Plus,
board
there were digital loans. It wasn't just actual books. It was a lot of digital loans too.
Digital loans were also up a lot, but I mean, like in this part of the report, I mean, the books is what jumped out to me as a big story. I mean, breaking
Mm.
2,000 books is like, whoo, well, I'll let the staff know and
Mhm.
makes us happy. Digital search, though, I mean, it's not a surprise to me that they're continuing to trend. You know, like whenever we look, you know, last month I presented, you know, what we circulate from our collections overall, as well as, you know, what we just circulate in town. And whenever you look at like everything we own, I believe this month is going to be the month where we pass, you know, where digital circulation comes primary and physical circulation becomes secondary.
Yeah, it's
Always
interesting.
been the reverse of that, except for on some like really freak months, like, you know, during the pandemic, our physical circulation tanked and digital
Of
circulation
course.
soared.
Yeah, that's
Then we
perfectly
had
opposite.
2 closures after that, or just one. We had a lockdown after that.
Oh,
And
that's right. I forgot about those.
we had when we had to close for the ceilings.
Hmm.
Got repaired. And, you know, our print circulations, you know, it's not as high as it used to be because you would expect some of these patrons to start using this
Right.
and to kind of equal out.
For
But
it
I
to
mean,
come together
it
more.
has gone down considerably, and you know, it's still kind of rising up. It's print circulation is not going anywhere, but digital circulation is set to surpass it this month.
So if you add together the two, the loans for the month of March were amazing. Really, I can't think of another word. When you take out, you figure the amount of books plus digital. That's almost 4,000, 31, almost 4,000. Right?
Well,
Am I?
we searched 4,615 items to Douglas. You know, was, you know, like 2,153 was books, video, and then digital loans was 1,740 of that. The total loans provided, just period, you know, across the Commonwealth was these two numbers added together. So it'd be 6,000 to
Okay,
6,000.
okay, I see. One thing that I noticed, which I thought was a little bit surprising, is the audio books went down. I know so many people who use audio books while they're walking or, being around the house or whatever.
Most of them use Libby now, instead of checking out audiobook CDs.
Okay, gotcha.
This audio is mostly just, you know,
Okay, so then the audio books would then come under digital loans?
Yep. If
Okay.
they're digital.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, the 1,740 digital loans, that includes audiobooks and ebooks.
Okay,
However they consume the story, we don't care.
exactly. I think it's great.
But it's interesting because, you know, like our primary service delivery model is about to change. You know, like how people primarily use the library is about to switch. And I don't see that switch ever unflicking. We're about 2 years ahead of the curve compared to other libraries because I started investing in Overdrive Advantage here in, you know, 2018. And a lot of other libraries our size didn't actually start until the pandemic forced them to. So we kind of had a head start on the trajectory. But I think this is something that we're going to see a lot of libraries, you know, realizing soon is that, you know, we're now primarily digital and secondarily a physical library in terms of how our patrons use us. That's fun.
Who would have?
But in other
So,
news, we had a really successful Shake the Frost event. We had 20 kids for face painting, 39 for a musical playground, and 28 birdhouses got painted. We had the basement doors open, so I don't trust the door count because people kind of came in the top, went downstairs, and then went out the back.
Right.
Because, you know, our door counter reported 50 some odd people, but I know we had twice that easy. And some people just came in and out the basement door because that's where they were parked and it was open. So they
Right.
never checked the sensor. Speaking of doors, we've gotten a lot of feedback since we had to close for the front door closure. Patrons really, really liked coming in the back door.
I did too. I liked it a lot.
Something to consider as we're like rearranging space and thinking of like maybe it makes sense to replace that solid fire door with just a glass door at some point if we can find another place to move the kiddos playroom, because I mean it is a lot
That's the
easier.
only issue I had. The only concern I had was that while the doors were being done, going in and out there were kids playing right there.
Mhm.
And you're depending on some type of responsible adult keeping an eye on those kids to make sure they're not going to just open the door and walk out. So that was the only concern I had, but I thought the convenience of it was great.
Mhm. See, we've done some quality of life improvements to the catalog since we launched it. Some patrons wanted genre browse buttons. So along the top, you can click a button now that gives you just the newest romance, just the newest sci-fi, just the newest mysteries instead of all
I
the
saw
50
that.
lumped
That's
together.
good.
And we've also integrated Sutton into our catalog. Like on the left-hand side, there's a little drop down where you can see available at, and it's always just, Douglas, available at Douglas. But we put Sutton there now too, so that if a patron is looking for something and they need it like today,
Mm,
they can use the catalog easily to figure out if it's right up the road. If this goes well, we may integrate some other libraries into it as well. Uxbridge, I know we get a lot of people here who also use Uxbridge and Whitensville. So we may add those on later too. It depends on whether those directors kind of want to reciprocate or not, as to
mm.
whether I'm interested in it. But us and Sutton, it was kind of just a marriage that seemed to make a lot of sense. I'm working with Baker and Taylor to try to import grids whenever I place orders, so that whenever Douglas patrons look at the catalog, or any patrons look at our catalog, they'll see what we have on order as well as what we already have. Some libraries already do this, which is why patrons can place holds on. I think Ellie has a hold on something that's not coming out till 2025. Some library ordered it, and so it's in the catalog and it's holdable. And
Oh
now
my goodness.
I want to be able to do that too. I have found out today that it is a premium Baker and Taylor service that you have to pay a little bit of extra money for. So it's an ongoing process of exploration. Another process of exploration is trying to figure out how to upgrade our phones. Right now, we just have one incoming phone line and we don't have a special answering service or anything like that. So if we're on the phone, patrons just get a busy signal and they have to guess as to when to call back. They can't leave a message that we can, then pick up and return to later. And they don't like it. And we're getting complaints about it. And we're also getting a whole lot of junk calls that we're fielding all day, and we don't like that. So the next
Well,
time there is
have
a
you looked into anything with the town?
Yes, the town is doing a phone training for their new system that they had installed in a few weeks, and I'm going to attend that. And if we like how it looks, find out how much it would cost to do that with our systems. If it doesn't look like it's a good fit, then it might make more sense to just go with Verizon directly and create like an enterprise account so that we can have call waiting, block spam calls, and have, a message service that can take messages when the line is occupied.
One of the questions I would have with the town service would be, would the person calling go to a central line, whatever, central place, and then have a recording say, to reach the library, press blah, 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 to reach, whatever, plus the other thing. That's another
That's another
step that,
thing I don't know, and I won't know until I'm able to talk
right,
to.
that's another step that I don't know.
If
I kind of
so, I
tend
would
to.
not want to do that. I mean, I don't want
Me
someone
either. I
the entire
agree. So,
municipal calling tree to find the library.
exactly. By the time you get there, you're so frustrated, you're
Very,
barking
yeah.
at the person who actually answers the phone. So
Right.
we don't want that. Yeah, so that would be interesting. I think that's good to look into that. We're long overdue for that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last thing, actually, there is another thing I wanted to report. We had, I started keeping track of how many calls we got. 97 calls for eclipse glasses. Eclipse day.
Oh,
It just did not stop. It was a demand that I
do
did not
people?
predict. Apparently, I missed a memo.
Good
But all
grief.
day long, it was just answering the phone. Thank you for calling the Simon Fairfield Public Library. We don't have any eclipse glasses, but is there anything else we can do for you today?
There you go. It's kind of like when you call about you call the doctor's office or something. If you're calling about COVID or this, press 1.
But when the next one happens in, I think, like 93 years or whatever, we need to have some bloody glasses.
We won't be, well, it's not around here. It's going to be way far away, and I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be on a spaceship by then, going somewhere.
Well, apparently you can watch it in Colombia like later this year.
All
Because
right,
they're
let's
trying
do
to
a
collect
field
all the
trip.
glasses we distributed up here and send them to Colombia.
Yeah, they're doing that.
And the budget was approved by FinCom, or the recommendation of it was approved by FinCom. So at this point, our $100,000 budget increase request is just baked into the town budget going into town meeting.
Excellent, excellent.
That's,
I knew there was one
Coming up
person
ASAP.
on that committee that wasn't 100% sold, but I think you did it, Justin, with your follow-up to that meeting, with the information that you shared.
you know, she just wanted to talk about it. She wasn't anti the proposal at all.
But she
She
kept,
came to the library and we chatted, and then she said, you know, she just wanted me to say some of the same things at the finance committee meeting because she's tired of sitting on a committee where people don't ask as many questions of the presenters. So,
okay, all right, I'll accept that. I'm good. All right, so are we
it was a
good with,
dialogue, I thought.
we're good with our list? All right, so moving on to old business, under building projects and accessibility next steps.
We're still waiting on Matt to talk to the architects that we have in-house. He's leaving for, I think, the weekend and most of the week. So we're not likely to hear anything soon, but hopefully by next meeting, we'll have some advancement on this. Mike Fitzpatrick, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, was in his office today whenever I was talking about it. So now he's interested as well. So.
Well, that's good.
And I sent the language that the trustees had approved to put in front of the architects to him as well as Matt now. So more people are aware of, you know, like what
Good.
the request was for the architect to price out.
Yeah, and I think
of an estimate.
And it was an intelligent, accurate request. It wasn't like a pie in the sky kind of thing, like maybe we want this or that. I think it was presented in a very professional way. So, hoping to hear good things on it. Under other old business, other building issues and basement renovations.
The contractors actually visited today to do a site, you know, walk around and figure things out. May 6th is still going to be the start day. I've got the storage room ready, finished a lot of prep for that today. I took a lot of stuff out back for the highway guys to haul away. Old, like, we had a bunch of like desk hardware that we didn't have all of, but we had some of, like the big heavy industrial kind of stuff. And I think it came from when Ricky Colinero thought he was going to have an office at the library. And so he collected some things. We had like a door that was like 2 or 3 iterations ago, the back basement door, like not the one we had before, but the one we had before that. Like tons of really heavy old stuff floating around, leaned against the
Right,
wall.
and so he decides he's
Isn't
gonna do
really
that, and
taking
then
up
he
space,
doesn't,
so
and
you
then
want to paint the walls.
and then you're responsible for getting rid of it.
But
How's your
it
back?
really looks so empty now. It's It's
Good.
there's going to be
Should.
potential for what we do with that.
That's good to look forward to that.
And another just sort of heads up for things down the road. While they're here doing that, they're going to do a walk around of the building because I pointed out the bricks that were needed, re-pointed out back.
Hmm.
And I had a conversation with them for a while, like what does it take to keep this from happening? And apparently they recommend sealing brick every 10 years with like a water preventative thing to repel water. And I
Right.
think there used to be like, every few years, there was oiling the bricks was in the budget, going back like to the early days. And I think that's what they were doing is I think they were coating the outside
Probably.
with oil so that they
Hmm.
didn't deteriorate. And that's something has never been on our radar, hasn't been done. So I'm going to have him prepare a quote for that to put on our capital plan, moving down the road to get all the outside bricks repointed, the walls repaired, the washed, and the seams sealed up where they need to be resealed, done correctly, and then have the water, the whatever they put on it so that water doesn't soak in done. And then he said, if that is done, it should stop a lot of the crumbling and the rot that we're just kind of addressing piecemeal as we notice it. And then
Right.
that seal should be reapplied every 10 years if you want to keep the brick from crumbling.
Right. Yep.
So it'll generate our first good, like recurring capital plan fodder for moving forward.
Oiling the bricks. We're going to have to add that to our budget every year now. I really like, you know what? I like that idea. I'm going to look into that. The history of oiling bricks.
Oiling bricks. It took us a while to figure out what it was because when
Yeah,
that
that
brought up,
totally makes
like,
sense.
what are they talking about?
You
It's
want
like
to keep
brick
water
oil.
from getting in there. And once it gets in those tiny little microscopic holes, it just starts eating it away till it crumbles. We
And
have
you did
work that
notice a
needs to be
lot
done.
on the front towards the ground that's going to need fixed. And like along the sides where we had our windows painted white, that white paint has leached down and stained the bricks white. So it's just cleaned up.
All right.
Next,
Do we have other building issues?
Hope not.
Hearing none under grants, looking at the capital campaign.
We have more money than we did last month. Not a lot, but a little.
That's good. I just wanted to give a shout out to the donation jars. I mean, it's a tiny drop in the bucket, but I collected another $45.50 this month. So from December till now, I've collected about $200 from those jars. And every time I go to at least the little coffee bean, there's a $20 bill in there. So
Wow.
I'd like to give a shout out to people who take the time to put their change or their dollars and whatever, and then a challenge to who else can put a $20 bill in one of the jars, But it's just a little thing, and I think it keeps the awareness alive for the community. So just that was it.
here.
Huzzah.
All right, under other.
We got our LIG MEG disbursement, which talked about in the financial report. The other grant, which is a work in process, is Rebecca and Minka Stoyanova, who is a patron and a faculty member at Clark. They're working on doing a prototyping grant from the National Endowment for Humanities to create an augmented virtual reality tour of historic downtown Douglas. The way I think this works is that they digitize a bunch of stuff from the archive that hasn't been digitized yet, and like actually bring in like faculty from Clark to make really good renderings and all that stuff. I don't know, and collecting a lot of text stuff. And then the idea is that you would check out a tablet at the library, and then you could walk around downtown and point it at things, and then you could see what your surroundings looked like in different eras. So you could point it, at Joe's, and then, move your slider back and see what it used to be before it was Joe's, and move it back all the way, and if there is a photographic record, it'll end up there. And they want to use that's the cool part, but that's not actually the goal. The goal is to get this out there so that people can check it out. They can walk around, and then they can point it at something. They can select the year and then start recording and record any stories and experiences they have that they want to share with the community as like an oral history. And it'll automatically get uptaken into the app and, chopped up and, added to the record, as it were, like creating local history and capturing an oral, stories that people have now before, they're gone.
That's
So you get, if I'm understanding it right, like that's the primary goal. And then the digitized augmented reality thing is, the hook to get to that goal, but it kind of creates a self-fulfilling tool for generating local history. Because then people can, listen to all sorts of different stories and things and whatnot about local historical places.
Wow.
Very cool.
And we
That's
shouldn't
cool.
have to pay anything for it because somebody else will be paying for it. So
That's
Justin,
fascinating.
how does that get edited?
I have no idea.
Right.
I'm just thinking, I think it's really cool too, people adding their own stories, but like, okay.
There has to
Um,
be an administrator. So it goes up to the
cloud.
cloud, and then it gets approved by an administrator, and then it's allowed or edited.
Yeah, because who knows what people could say.
I got some stories.
This is where I got my.
About the old fire station. Yeah, we'll have to do some editing and curate.
But I think it's a great idea.
Though, because I can't fathom anyone like coming and like checking one of these out with intentions like that. If they do, that's just outstanding. Give them credit for it.
But you've got to be prepared.
I mean, it's still local history. So.
That's it. And who are
Good and
we to judge or censure, right? I don't know. In this day and age, I think we
True,
should.
anything goes, right?
Well, anything that's not harmful or.
No, but even if I'm not even thinking of something sleazy or inappropriate, but even something just stammering or anything that might be, that might just not come across.
Exactly.
Well.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think I'm sure they're going to take that into consideration, and I'm sure the grant process will ask for how are you going to.
Everything that's recorded has to eventually be transcribed, and that's an accessibility requirement. So that's that's going to have to get edited somehow because it's going to have to get transcribed. As long as it's a human doing it and not an AI, then
Yeah.
It just sounds like there's a bit of maintenance required on that over time.
It's supposed to be built in.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We're in the very early phases of prototyping this, so it's got a long way to go. This is like the infancy thinking about it phase.
Right. In a perfect
It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, it would be amazing, but it's
That
a
would be
human world.
interesting for a Samuel Slater experience.
Yeah.
You could get a lot of stories, I'm sure.
It's gonna say.
Yeah.
will be internationally known. Anyhow, I think that's great, and I hope them the best. And I'm glad that Rebecca has someone to work with. I love that name. It's a beautiful name. Anyhow,
Sci-Fi Book Club. If you want to meet her, you're gonna read the next Sci-Fi Book Club book.
I'm sorry, what?
If you want to meet her, you can read the next Sci-Fi Book Club book and join us for book club.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What are you
Oh,
reading?
wow.
Planetfall by Emma Newman. It's
Okay.
science fiction, but it's mostly about like anxiety and hoarding disorder.
Okay.
Okay.
It's really, really good. I know that sounds like a really weird sell, but the author of the book has like some severe social anxieties, and they shine through in the works that she writes. So like she's done this whole series, and this person is like part of a, a colony that's been implanted on a new world, but they had to make some sacrifices when they landed because things went wrong, and so like she's part of a kind of a cover up to
That sounds
protect the
interesting.
viability of the colony, but it's sort of driving her mad in the process.
It sounds very interesting.
It is.
I like it.
If you have an anxious personality, then you'll read that book. And
Well, I know people who would fit that. Absolutely. I spent a year and a half cleaning out someone's house
Mm.
who had a hoarding anxiety and hoarding disorder. But anyhow, that's a story for another time. So nothing new to report on LRP updates. Under friends, I know Ellie would add something. Did Ellie leave any? I know they're planning. The big plan is for the annual book and plant sale at the end of May.
book, plants, and puzzles. We have so many puzzles.
You know me.
Interesting.
I'm a puzzle lady.
I can't be
But
there
yeah,
for that.
this Saturday will be the Friends annual meeting, 10 a.m. virtually. I need to create a Zoom meeting and send that link out to all the friends. Do you want me to send it to y'all as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, go.
A lefty.
Yep. Sinister.
Some of my seedlings started for the sale.
I have some carrot seedlings, but I'm afraid I'm going to kill them.
Oh no, you don't want to transplant carrot seedlings. You want to they should be in the ground. They shouldn't even be anywhere else
It's a
but the
Home Depot
ground.
craft project for the kids. We made
Oh,
planters.
crikey.
And we
Then
gave
you're
carrot
killing,
seeds,
they're
and
going
now
to
I'm
kill them. And
responsible
what are
for
they going to learn
carrots.
from
I didn't
that?
sign up for that.
They should have learned, they should have learned to learn how to just plant them in the ground. You can't transplant carrots. Where's Ellie?
We have done it, but you tend to get wiggly carrots.
Yeah, right. It's
They
not
don't grow
worth.
straight. But you
We
can
have an
transplant them.
arrow garden on our kitchen counter, and they wanted me to put the carrot seedlings in the arrow garden. I was like, that's the worst possible ideas, kiddos. It's just not going to work.
Well, then they'll learn. Cause and effect. There's a science experiment. Did it work? If not, what can you do to fix it next time? I digress. Okay,
I don't have anything else.
no one else has anything to say, so any other business, old business, new business? Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that one of our trustees is running for Board of Selectmen.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am for the 1 year seat, not the 3 year. It's very confusing because
It is.
there's 2 seats available on the 3 year and 3 people running. And one seat on the 1 year and 2 of us running.
Me and
So,
Gail were trying to figure it out earlier, and I ended up just
Oh,
going
so
to the
there are
town
5 running.
website and printing out a ballot.
Yeah.
well, I can I'll drop by at I'll drop at the library's sample ballots
Oh, I've
because
got one now.
No,
I found it.
okay.
So
I
I'm
don't-
gonna post that.
can we do that? Can we?
I don't know.
I don't know if you can put
Well, I mean, it's the
things
sample
in a
specimen ballot.
public
It's
building,
supposed to be
like,
posted in public spaces, and I'm surprised that I don't have one already.
but the thing of putting flyers somewhere, you can't. Are you talking about a flyer, Lee?
No, no, no. I'm talking about the sample ballot just to explain to voters
Oh.
how you're going to vote and who's on the ballot.
Okay.
And it's very confusing this year because there's an open seat for a 1 year
Right.
because somebody moved out of town. So
Right.
And there's a gentleman that won the 1 year last year, and now he's running for re-election for the 3 year. So that makes it 2 3-year seats that are available, which people don't understand. They think there's 5 people running for the same seat,
Exactly.
and I made copies of the ballot to explain it more clearly to the voters,
Right. Um,
And I made a copy of the same thing to post, so we're good.
Very
so
good.
Justin, can you check on that and make sure, just double check. Is it
That's
okay
allowed.
for the library?
Yeah, it's a sample ballot. It's up in town hall.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
actually supposed to
Oh,
have
okay.
posted.
All
I just
right.
didn't get it.
Because I've read about, things that are
Like the
allowed and
agendas
things
for
that
school
aren't.
committee meetings, and like a lot of things come our way from Chris to post out because they just have to be posted in like 3 physical locations around town because it's law. So
Okay.
we always have stuff like this hanging from our clotheslines.
See,
Okay.
one of my concerns is that the townspeople don't get enough information about, who's running, when the election is, when the town meeting is, and that's one of the problems we have. I mean, I've talked to people and they've said, "Oh, there's an election coming up."
Yeah.
Right.
They don't even know that when the date is or who's running or anything like that. There's not enough information given to the public, in my opinion.
I
You're
agree, and
exactly right. And all those signs of people who are running, they don't have the date on them. They just have the name of the person, but they don't have the date when you can vote for them.
I know. I wish I put that on my signs, but
no, I totally, I forgot what I was going to say. You were talking about explaining to voters. Oh, one of the things is a central place online. Probably it should be on the town website where
exactly.
voters can go to get a listing of the candidates and what their platform is, what are they going to do? Like, if I'm Leo Lyons will say, if I'm elected selectman, I will do blah blah blah. I will give $4 million to the library. No, you can't do that.
Exactly.
But and because I want that, because I'm seeing so many names out there, and I know some of the names, and I'm like, I don't know, whatever. I need to know more,
Right.
and I'm not
Exactly.
seeing a central place, a place that's not
Central.
it's not colored by anything. It's just the facts,
Exactly. And I've suggested that to the people at the town hall, and if elected, I'm going to make sure that the townspeople know what's going on and what happened at the selectmen's meeting and what happened at the library meeting and what's new, and
Right.
what you should be concerned about and not concerned about,
Can solve the
And
problem
just-
for Douglas, then there's probably a whole country worth of people who will be itching for the solution.
Yeah,
That's
Yep.
unfortunately the demise of the newspaper industry because that was their job.
yeah. Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Gee, what's happened to that? What's happened to fair reporting?
I
Yep.
don't know.
Well, we can talk about that if you want to, but we'll be here for another hour and a half.
I know. I think this is outside the realm, outside of our realm.
Oh,
So,
some good books.
if we have no other new business, our next meeting will be May 28th at 5 p.m. I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Second.
all those in favor?
I
Aye.
As Joe used to say, it's a standing vote, so you have to stand up and leave.